So, what if I told you that the solution to a huge, looming global technology crisis isn't buried deep in the earth? What if I told you it's actually sitting right there in your junk drawer? Yep, the world's richest, most concentrated mine might be a whole lot closer than you think. Let's just imagine for a second. The year is 2026. A crisis explodes in the Strait of Hormuz, this tiny, 21-mile wide stretch of water that's basically a superhighway for global trade. All of a sudden, the supply chains for the critical minerals that power our entire digital world, they just snap. We're talking everything from your phone to our national defense systems. The world is suddenly staring down the barrel of a tech famine. To fight this kind of crisis, we really have two choices. On the one hand, we can stick with traditional mining, which is incredibly expensive and, let's be honest, devastating for the environment. Or we can tap into this massive resource we've already pulled from the ground and have just discarded. We can unlock the treasure trove of old electronics that are piling up in all of our homes. To give you some perspective, to get gold the old-fashioned way, you have to dig up and process 1 ton of ore. That's about the weight of a small car. And for all that work, you get around 5 grams of gold. But now, look at this. 1 ton of old mobile phones can give you over 300 grams of gold. That is a 60-fold increase in concentration. It's not just a little more efficient, it's a completely different ballgame. The most valuable mine on Earth is literally the one we carry around in our pockets. So this all leads to a really important question. What exactly is an urban mine? What are we talking about here? Well, urban mining is basically the process of reclaiming all those valuable metals and materials from our electronic waste, what we call e-waste. It means we have to start seeing our cities not just as places where we consume things, but as these incredibly rich, concentrated reserves of raw materials just waiting to be harvested. And you know, this mine is incredibly diverse. We're not just talking about your old smartphone. It's that dead laptop sitting in your closet. It's the old Wi-Fi router that's just gathering dust. It's the cracked tablet, those depleted batteries, and yeah, even old LCD screens. Every single one is a little pocket of really valuable stuff. And if you look inside this e-waste, it's amazing. The printed circuit boards, they are packed with precious metals like gold, silver, and palladium. Old batteries are basically reservoirs of lithium and cobalt. LCD screens have indium. Even old hard drives have these super powerful rare earth magnets. I mean, these are the fundamental building blocks of all modern technology. So how does this all go from being just a clever recycling idea to a really powerful economic and environmental strategy? Let's dig into how we turn what we once thought was just trash into a source of incredible value. Okay, one of the biggest wins right off the bat is the energy savings. Recovering metals from e-waste uses dramatically less energy. We're talking up to 80 or even 90% less than pulling them out of the ground. That means a way smaller carbon footprint and a huge reduction in the environmental damage that comes with traditional mining. And this is where it all clicks together. The materials that are the most vital to our economy and also have the highest risk of supply chain disruptions, they're the exact same elements that are highly concentrated in our e-waste: cobalt, rare earth elements, platinum. Urban mining directly tackles our biggest vulnerabilities head-on. Okay, so this sounds fantastic in theory, right? But how does it actually work? How do you possibly extract these microscopic amounts of gold from a really complex circuit board? This isn't about just smashing things with a hammer. This is some seriously advanced chemical engineering. So the most common method is something called hydrometallurgy. First, the e-waste is really carefully pre-treated. It's dismantled, sorted, and shredded. Second, it goes through a process called leaching. This is where special liquids, including some new, much less toxic green solvents, are used to dissolve the metals you want into a solution. Kind of like dissolving sugar in tea. And finally, in the selective recovery stage, some clever chemistry is used to pull each metal out of that solution one by one in its pure form. This flowchart here really shows that whole journey from a pile of jumbled e-waste to pure, ready-to-use raw materials. It's a sophisticated, closed-loop system that's designed for precision and efficiency, creating this continuous cycle for resources that were once just destined for a landfill. So what does this all mean for the bigger picture? This is so much more than just a new way to get gold. It's a fundamental rethinking of our entire economic model. As this quote explains really well, urban mining is a cornerstone of what we call the circular economy. The whole goal is to stop this linear take, make, and dispose model that we've been stuck in. Instead, we create these loops where resources are continuously reused and recycled. The anthroposphere, that's the human-made environment, becomes our primary mine. So when you boil it all down, urban mining isn't just one thing. It's a solution that works on so many different levels. It creates real wealth from waste. It strengthens our national security by localizing supply chains. It drastically cuts pollution and energy use. And it paves the way for a truly sustainable, self-reliant economy. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. The next time you look at that old phone or laptop sitting in a drawer, don't just see a piece of junk. See it for what it truly is, a dense, valuable, and absolutely vital part of a strategic national reserve.